great weekend, Memorial's Day weekend, man. That's for sure. But of course, what is good, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP. Welcome to the Sports PSP podcast. I got a crew here. First of all, appreciate my man Mitch Kofsky. He is the co-founder of the Hardcore Sports Network. Does a great job. NFL, NBA, WWE. Pleasure to have you back on the pod, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I was here 2 weeks ago. I had blast. I had to come back on, man. I had to come back on.
Mm-hmm. We got a comment right here from the chat. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hey everyone, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Daniel.
Every
Appreciate you
Friday
for
to
the
you.
comment, man. We got another man on the panel, BRF Sportsman. How are you doing, my brother?
I am. I might as well go ahead and break it. I got the news. I did not get the position, but it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna keep it pushing. One door closes, another opportunity can open up. So you just never know. But life is still good. I cannot complain. How's everybody living?
Everybody's
Very
doing
good,
good.
man. Very good.
And of course, last but not least, saving the best for last, my man, undisputed world champ. How are you doing, my brother?
I am great, man. I am great, man. Happy to be on the highlight of Friday nights, the Sports PSP podcast, man. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this to my main man, Frank, man. We know you didn't get it this time, but rejection is just God's redirection. Always remember that.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to that.
Another man's trash is another man's treasure. Don't forget
Yep.
that. Absolutely. But fellas, first of all, happy Memorial Day's weekend. Shout outs to everyone. Fellas, let's get into the NBA playoffs because I don't want to waste too much of your time because I know y'all got plans for the weekend. What are your thoughts about just the NBA playoffs, whether the conference finals or hell, even last weekend with the NBA playoffs regarding the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets or the Pacers versus the Knicks? Mitch, you want to go first?
I'll start it off. Sure, I'll start it off. I gotta talk about this Luca and Kyrie Irving duo because nobody thought this would be as big as it is right now. Defensively, we thought they were gonna get smoked, but right now they're in the Western Conference Finals. They took Game One. Luca had 33. Kyrie had 30. I mean, this duo is going places now. Are they going to advance against the hot Minnesota Timberwolves? I can see it, but I still got the Timberwolves winning. But Luka and Kyrie, the best duo in the NBA right now.
How you got the Timberwolves winning the series? You have them in 6, 7.
Yeah, I have Timberwolves in 6.
BRF.
I was I was highly impressed with Kyrie and the way he played in game one. It was like even though Luca had the fourth quarter, it was like Kyrie kind of set the tone. The like those first 3 quarters. I mean, this is probably like, is it safe to say this is the best like playoff Kyrie we've seen since Cleveland? Safe to say.
Mm.
So I mean, it's like he's kind of it's like he's raised that bar for himself. He's like he's kind of take that notch up another level. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from him. I'm enjoying just I don't know. This playoffs is just it's been about really really good team basketball. Because like you look at like Minnesota and Dallas, Indiana. I feel like all 4 teams that are left, Pacers and the Celtics in the East. I feel like all four teams that are left have just taken the concept of team basketball and they've just been able to execute it. And that's even with them having all of them, it's safe to say, kind of safe to say they have like a face of their franchise. Minnesota's got and Dallas has Luca, Indiana has Tyrese Halliburton, Boston has Jason Tatum. They all have that one standout face of the franchise, but it's like they've taken the concept of team basketball and they've just been executing, whether it's stepping up defense timely when they need to or being able to put points up on the board when they need to. It's like they understand when that moment comes, whether they need to step it up offensively or defensively. These are the 4 that have just been doing it the most consistent. And I mean, we've kind of, I think at this point, these are the 4 teams that deserve to be there. My thing is just Boston's just I think Boston is just too much for Indiana. I could really see a sweep with this series. I really could. If Indiana's going to get one, it's gonna be game three. They have to get game three for any type of momentum. If they don't get game three, I think Boston's just gonna sweep them. It's just to save a little face and get a little momentum. If Indiana doesn't get game three, I think that series is like I don't think it goes back to Boston. I just think Boston's kind of like in their own little realm right now and just kind of they're executing and like Indiana's they gotta get game three. They have to get game three. They have to. So Minnesota and Dallas, like I said, I'm still leaning Minnesota in six, but the fan in me just wants to see that game. I want to see it go seven. Just the basketball fan in me, I want to see it go seven. Just and Luka, Kyrie, Cat, just the potential offensive firepower that's there. I want to see that series go seven. That's just the fan in me. I'm gonna be greedy, but I don't care. I want to see that series go seven.
You do make a very valid point, BRF. If Boston could sweep the Indiana Pacers, depending on Tyrese Halliburton's health, because if he cannot go in this series, then it's over for the Indiana
Oh,
Pacers.
it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Tyrese Halliburton, at least from the Pacers standpoint, gives you that floor general who can at least give you that offensive firepower to perhaps compete the way they did with the Pacers in Game 1. If you don't have him, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Big Champ, talk to me.
Hey, man, I must say two things. Number one, parity is at its best in the NBA right this moment. Who would ever thought we'd see the Minnesota Timberwolves back in the conference finals? 20 years removed from their first appearance. 20 years since Kevin Garnett was in the conference finals. And just 6 years ago, let's just face it, their roster was deemed as one of the worst rosters in the NBA at that point in time. So, and look, considering some of the bad history they had with drafting, drafting Ricky Rubio over Steph Curry, just to name a few bad picks, I am extremely happy that parity is at its best. Not to mention, this playoff is a significance in the changing of the guard. We're able to see a lot of the young players that are in the NBA at this point. The youth movement is something special. We're able to see the next generation of players that are coming in, and we're getting ready to see at least one of these young players finally reach the pinnacle and win a championship. Hopefully, it's my guy Anthony Edwards from UGA. Hey, man, I'm gonna root for him the entire time. And man, it's just been something special. Now, like I said last week, you heard it here first. Hey, I told y'all Minnesota was gonna take that thing, man. They came back and they took it from them. So, although we can't underestimate the heart of a champion, I learned one thing in boxing when I was in the amateurs. It's hard to get the title and even harder to keep it. So always know that when you win the championship or you win the title, people are going to be training just as hard in order to take it to you. So, hey, man, got to give a big up to these young players that are in the playoffs. Not to mention, man, to piggyback on BRL Sports, man, Kyrie, man, I think he is hungry to finally win a championship outside of LeBron James. And if you really, really ask me, a championship outside of Jason Tatum, I would say. Outside of Jason Tatum, because I believe that, we'll see Halliburton down the line in the championship game. I believe that we will see, let's say, Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves on down the line in a championship game. I think the two players that it means the most to reach the NBA Finals at this point is Kyrie and his former teammate Jason Tatum. And I think a title would mean the most to those two players. For Kyrie to win something outside of the shadow of LeBron James to prove that he can finally get over the hump and have some success without him, and for Jason Tatum to not only shake off that stigmatism of him not showing up in the big one, but also to submit his legacy as one of the Celtics greats. You cannot be a Celtics great without a championship. And you can go on down the list. Larry Bird, Paul Pierce, Jim Havlicek. You cannot be a Celtics great without that chip. And I think that chip will finally put both Kyrie and Jason Tatum over the top. Unfortunately, in the great words of the Highlander, Connor McLeod, there can be only one.
Hmm. I think this has been a great, exciting playoffs. Whoever thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves, down 20, would come back and beat the reigning NBA champions, no longer, eventually no longer Denver Nuggets? Whoever thought Rudy Gobert, of all people, taking a fadeaway jump shot? Whoever thought that Nas Reed, the way that he did work late in the fourth quarter, step up? Rudy Gobert did his part as far as getting to the foul line. Anthony Edwards, statistically, as far as shooting, didn't have a great or spectacular performance, but I just love the fact that he didn't lose his composure. He just continued to make plays, and eventually he did hit a couple of threes. And it doesn't seem like he's afraid of the moment. Big ups to Cat Carl Anthony Towns. Champ, I also told you the X factor for the Minnesota Timberwolves was also Jaden McDaniels. Because of Jaden McDaniels, we know what he represents on defense, but if he can give you an offensive type of performance, and through in game 6 and game 7, prior to game 6 and game 7, he was struggling. But if he can give you good offensive types of performances, then watch what you can do. So I think for me with the Timberwolves, and look, they're still a young team. I have the Mavs, believe it or not, I have them winning this series in 7. The Mavs should win this series in 7. I think with Kyrie and Luca, and also PJ Washington, that's one of the X factors for the Mavericks as well. I think Anthony Edwards, he did struggle in game 1. I don't see that happening again, whether in game 2, I know they're playing right now, or in games 3 and games 4. I think this is going to be a very exciting series. Minnesota Timberwolves, they definitely have a lot to look forward to. First time since 20 years they've been to the conference finals. That was the year in which Kevin Garnett won the league MVP. I just think there's a lot of great things to look forward to for the Minnesota Timberwolves. As for the Pacers versus Knicks, I wanted to talk about that series just a little bit, and before we move on, a lot of talk about the Knicks and the injuries, and yes, there were a lot of injuries. OG Ananobi, Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson later in the game, in which he fractured his hand. But I gotta still give credit where credit is due to the Indiana Pacers. They shot tremendously well in the first half, and when you shoot that well, more times than not, you're gonna win a lot of games. And Tyrese Halliburton set the tempo as well as Pascal Siakam. And I think with game one, they had a chance to close game one. Game two, I mean, that is a concern. And shout outs to Jalen Brown. He had a great game last night. I mean, 40 points, and especially the fact that you got your contract. What was it, 5 year, $300 million? And again, the pressure is going to be on Jason Tatum because again they've done their due diligence in the off season, and again Jason Tatum's going to eventually going to get his money because we all know he's a lot valuable to the organization. So he's going to get his bag. He's going to get his money. It's going to be great to see with the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, they have the best chance now to win an NBA championship, given the roster as presently constructed and that the Nuggets are no longer there anymore. This is their best type of chance to win an NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Um, anyone wants to continue with the NBA playoffs? Y'all want to,
Yeah, I
Mitch?
just got one thing. One thing. I want to piggy off what Champ was saying, just about all these young guys. You got Tatum, Luca, Edwards, Brown, etc. The new era is coming. The new era is coming in basketball. Like the Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Klay Thompsons. That's going away. We're in the new era now of all these young guys, a well team built. Like we're not seeing these super teams anymore. So we're in a new era of the young guys leading, having a well-supported cast around them, and it's leading to success. We're seeing it right in front of our eyes. We're witnessing history right now.
Champ, you want to respond?
Yes, I will be remiss if I didn't. Hey, to piggyback on what he said, on what my main man Mitch would say, hey, Life is good. And not only that, I have to say this. The era of the super team is over at this point in time. The era of these guys or these franchises just putting together teams and expecting to win just because of the personnel is over. You have to have team chemistry. Let me say that again for all of the people in the back rows. You have to have team chemistry. And I don't think people are talking about this enough. Just 6 years ago, we was talking about small ball being the future. Now we back to having dominant centers in the league. People ain't even talking about that. Before, during the Golden State Warriors era, the last, I think, since Shaq, no big man had won the MVP. Now in the last 4 years, we've had a big man win the MVP each and every year. So, the era of the big man has come back, not to mention, the dynasties are over, parities at an all-time high, and the super teams are over. Now, I don't necessarily think that the super teams are over as far as personnel. You're always going to have at least more than one all-star on your team. But as far as you just throwing guys together, these huge names, that's over with. Got to have team chemistry. Got to have that rim protector. Got to have guys who are going to provide perimeter defense. Basketball is getting back to the fundamentals, not only on the men's side, but on the women's side as well. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
Absolutely. BRF, any comments?
I do. I will add this. I think I I will say this. I am happy to see. I don't know. There was kind of like some. I don't know. Luka Doncic being in this spot. I can honestly admit that I'm happy. I'm happy for the guy. I mean, yeah, he's touted as one of the new the new faces of the league, but I think at one point there was start like because like Dallas like they were good, but they weren't like great, and there some rumblings of like Willie is he going to be wanting to stay? Is he going to want to go? There was some rumblings at one point, and then just Mark Cuban and that front office just kind of taking heed and like okay, we need to if we truly want this franchise to get back to where they were like 2011 winning the chip and everything, we got to build around this man. We know he's generational. We know he's a generational player. We got to build around him. We got to build the right pieces around him if we want him to truly take this next step and become the player we all feel that he can be. And this team that's currently constructed, like with Daniel Gafford and going out and acquiring a PJ Washington, I mean Luka. When I first heard that they were acquiring Kyrie Irving, I kind of thought about it. I'm like, okay, is it gonna be enough balls to go around? Is Kyrie gonna come in with the understanding that Luka's the one? You might be 1A, 1B, but Luka's the one. Luka's the face. I mean, you gonna have your moments every now and then, but Luka's one. You're behind him, and it's just like this new kind of I don't know. It's like this veteran leadership that's like really showing out of Kyrie Irving. I think is really the main thing that's taking this Mavericks team to where it is because it's like they believe in it's like they believe in each other, and it's good and I'm enjoying the type of basketball that they've been playing. Because for a while I was I always doubted the defense and particularly with Luka, but it's like they've really kind of turned the corner defensively with this team and just their execution and then just like everybody buying in and this I am really enjoying what the Dallas Mavericks are doing, and honestly if they were to win the title this year I would not be upset. And this is me being a Hawks fan having to hear, well, you had Luka, why did you go get traded? Nah, I ain't got time for that. I'm happy for Luka and I want to see this man. I want to see him succeed. I'm not these type of fans that just talk just to talk. I'm happy for Luka and I want to see him thrive and I want to see him succeed. And I'm just happy with what I'm seeing from this Dallas Mavericks team. And if they just knocked Minnesota out and made it to the finals, I would not be shocked because I feel like right now they're operating they're operating at another tier right now. And seeing them in Minnesota just like I said, I said this series is going to feed families, and I stand by that. This is going to be an awesome series.
I think so. And before I give my opinion, I want to give a good shout out to El Capitan Rafusho. Salute everyone. Ralph in the building. Appreciate you for commenting. I just think also too, let's give a lot of love to Jason Kidd as a head coach. Jason Kidd has done a tremendous job since he stepped in, and we all know if there's one thing Jason Kidd is familiar of is defense. And he's done a good job helping out the defensive side of the Dallas Mavericks. And I think he's a good enough coach to be in the NBA. I think he's the type of guy that can help out with Luka. As with Kyrie, I thought he was going to go to the Lakers because him going and pairing with LeBron, and plus, champ, you would know this as well. Kyrie grew up idolizing the late great Kobe Bean Bryant. I thought that would be enough of a reason for Kyrie to go to LA. And of course, because LA, the market, and everything else that LA has to represent. But he don't mind living in Dallas, Texas. State with no income taxes. You play with one of the best guards in the NBA, and Luka Doncic, who's always going to be in the discussion for the MVP. He is 25 years old. Luka Doncic is 25 years old, and he's still putting up these types of great performances. We know what he's done in the playoffs. We know what he's going to do in the regular season. I think Kyrie Irving understands. Look, in order for me, I gotta sit back. I gotta let this boy shine in Luka. I'm sorry, not boy, man. Kyrie's still gonna be a bad dude. Kyrie's still gonna give you capable performances, and we saw what he did in the playoffs, particularly the finals in 2016. People keep talking about LeBron with the block, and of course, LeBron James was outstanding in that finals in 2016. But let's not forget Kyrie Irving too did his damage in Game Five. Remember when he dropped 41 points as well, or when he hit that step back shot in Game Seven against the Golden State Warriors. His performance was as imperative as well. So I think with the Dallas Mavericks, I have the Mavs in seven because I think of the playoff experience. Kyrie, okay, who do you trust? Do you trust Luca or Kyrie? Either one, they're gonna make a play. I think with Anthony Edwards, and I love Anthony Edwards, champ, because I know you don't like using the term but he does have that dog in him. He does have that personality. But the beauty of it, he's only 22, and he's only gonna get even better, and he's gonna be one of the faces in the NBA. Not just because of the Kobe MJ comparisons, which I don't like because I feel like don't do it to the young man, but I think he has so much tremendous potential and talent, and I think he's only gonna get even better as his career goes on. So, fellas, what are y'all thoughts about the NBA? Did y'all hear the news about the NBA, TNT losing the rights to the NBA and now
Yes.
moving it to NBC or Amazon? Whoever wants to go first on the subject.
I would love to go first because people are complaining about them moving back to NBC. Keyword I said, moving back to NBC. It's kind of like moving back to your old neighborhood. You know everybody there. You know it's proven there. You know you got a lot of good people around you. So it's not always a bad thing to move back to your old neighborhood. Remember, man, NBC has some of the highest ratings in NBA history. That network is still home to the highest rated game in NBA history with the last finals of Michael Jordan. They actually televised that. Not to mention, people don't understand, and I don't know if they're going to have this, but they need to really bring this back. The storytelling of Bob Costas prior to those games, even the regular season games, the way he would those games on NBC.
You forgot one more, champ.
Ahmad Rashad.
Yes.
Yes, I love
Yeah,
this
him.
game.
Yeah.
So the stories that they was able to tell on NBC, it was flat out amazing. So them going back and let's not forget, let's hope they bring back the theme of NBA on NBC.
Yeah,
Everybody
I was
remembers
hoping you would mention that theme song.
yes. So everybody remembers that iconic theme. I know we're all gonna miss the TNT crew. But like I stated, the NBA going back to NBC is kind of like you moving back to your old neighborhood. You know everybody there. Everybody has a rapport with you already, and they know, and you know they're going to do right by you. So them going back to there is a great thing for the NBA. And not only that, if they do it the correct way, I could see NBC going back to the popularity that they had even back in the 90s. Because the thing is, the NBA on NBC was iconic. You knew it was coming. It was that theme that they had was so iconic. The great Nelly from St. Louis made a song with that beat. So I mean, I think it's going to be a good thing. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the Inside NBA cast back. Unfortunately, there has been many rumors about Charles Barkley potentially putting it on his own network and him hosting it, whether it be in a podcast or another network at a certain point. But I know we're all going to miss that. But give it a chance. The NBC, the NBA on NBC is proven. Now I don't know what it's going to do on Amazon, but I think Amazon has done a hell of a job on Prime with the televising of the NFL. They've done a hell of a job with the NFL. So I mean, if they do anything like they do, yeah. If they do anything like they do when they broadcast the NFL, it should prove to be something. But the NBA on NBC, I think that's proven, and I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be large. It's going to be interesting to see what new analysts and what new personalities get opportunities. Because when you switch networks, there's always going to be that new analyst. Remember, you had to change another guard from Ahmad Rashad and company to TNT, and it going to Ernie and guys like that. We saw Craig Seager. We saw a lot of iconic guys when it changed over. So let's give it a chance, man. It's proven where it's going. It's proven. It's proven to work on NBC. And my thing is, man, and not only that, man, NBC has put out a lot of great things. If you think about the new Fresh Prince series, if you think about, the WWE Network and the collaborations with them and a lot of the documentaries that they hold, not to mention tomorrow is Backlash. Who's hosting that? Who's in charge of the Peacock Network? NBC. So, man, look, it's proven to work. The formula has proven to work. They've worked with everyone from the NFL to the WWE to anybody that you can name, including the Masters. So the NBA on NBC is proven. Only thing that I ask is of the younger generation, because my generation, we know it's proven. Only thing I ask that the younger generation do, give it a chance so you can see what we saw. Hopefully they can deliver.
Mitch, I'm going to let you go. What's your thoughts?
We were talking about this on my podcast called the Pick and Roll Podcast. We were talking about the inside the NBA, just the impact that they have. That the impact with Shaq, Barkley, all of them, the whole gang. They brought players on like Draymond Green, Chris Paul. They brought female basketball players on. It was a great show of them talking shop, just like us right now, just shooting the shit, just doing their thing. Now we get to see it on NBC. It's a different dynamic and a different way of doing things. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited because when Ahmad Rashad started, I was kind of young, so I didn't really know what it was all about. But now that I'm like older, almost hit 30, I can understand what they're talking about now. And with that being said, I'm looking forward to it.
BRF.
I gotta say, the inside the NBA crew, I think, is arguably the most iconic crew of analysts in the history of TV sports. I mean, you got Shaq, you got Barkley, you got Kenny the Jet Smith, and then Ernie Johnson, who does not get enough praise for as good as he is as a journalist, as a commentator. There is nothing that man cannot do. We got to give Ernie Johnson his flowers because that man has been doing it for so long. He is still amazing at what he does. We got to give Ernie Johnson his flowers. I'll go in leading with that. I've thought about it a little bit. I was upset at first, and then I thought about it. I was like, as long as we get that theme song back, and as long as they do right with the production with the NBA on NBC, which I feel like they're going to do, because I feel like I really feel the NBA obviously, I mean, the NBC has obviously been wanting this for a while to be able to kind of shoot their shot and be able to land this deal. So the NBC's obviously been wanting this for a while. I mean, come on, man. The NBA on NBC theme song, for me, I think the three most iconic sports TV themes are between that, the MLB on Fox, and the NFL on Fox. I think they're the three most iconic songs as far as TV wise ever. Because I mean, you can't not watch a game on those networks at the time or whenever they were on, and then like you're instantly not thinking about that music hitting. So I think this generation is going to get a kick out of the NBC production of the NBA. I think they're going to do a really good job with it. I have no reason not to doubt NBC, especially everything they've been doing as of late. You know, with the NBC Universal Network and just everything that they've been putting their hands on is like. I mean, it's been working. And Champ mentioning Peacock. I mean, NBC. What NBC does, I mean, it's like they don't mess up when they dive into stuff like this. And I feel like the NBA is another advent. It's like another adventure for them to get into and just kind of see where it goes. Getting back into this, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to see it. And I think growing up with the NBA on NBC, all of the tremendous regular season playoff games that we were able to witness. And I think a big thing is going to be like, who are they going to get as far as like the commentators, like their analysts? I think now knowing that the deal is in place, I want to see who they go to. I want to see who they lean on for the commentary and the analysts and all that stuff. So I think there's going to be a really important factor in this, but I have no reason to doubt NBC. So I'm excited for it, and I think it's a new opportunity, like what Champ said, for the younger generation to experience what we witnessed growing up. So I'm excited for it. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for the NBA and NBC, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
I must admit this though, I was kind of sad seeing the end of something so great at TNT. I love Charles Barkley. He's one of my favorite sports personalities. I can't tell you everything what Charles Barkley would say on the air. If you want to hear more, you're going to have to hear me off the air. But he and Shaq are absolutely hysterical. By the way, BRF, I cannot believe you of all people forgot this about Ernie Johnson. Where did he go to school?
Obviously, the University of Georgia.
Right. So you got to make sure we got to represent that. Kenny the Jet Smith.
Obviously, University of Georgia. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Kenny the Jet Smith with his basketball IQ, his knowledge. It's absolutely hysterical with TNT, and I think Charles Barkley will be fine. Whatever he wants to do inside the NBA. And by the way, Charles Barkley is now on social media, folks. Same Charles Barkley who
God help us.
questioned about social media, who said that's for idiots. Whoever thought Charles Barkley would be on social media? But hey, I actually kind of love it for Chuck. Chuck is absolutely hysterical. He's hilarious. He's fun. And the one reason I love about Chuck, he don't give a damn what people have to say. If you have a problem with what he has to say, he don't have a problem with it. I mean, you could talk to him about it as long as you don't get personal. As far as with NBC, I think they'll be fine. I would love to see Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. That would be I mean, I love the job that they did on ESPN, but who knows? It could be a great opportunity for new people, whether NBA, WNBA. I think this will be great. They better bring back that old theme song because to your point, BRF, NFL on Fox. Also, I love the theme song from NFL on CBS too. Let's not forget NFL on CBS too.
Yep.
Not saying it's better than Fox, but I can't disregard NFL
And
on CBS.
and one more quick thing to throw in there, right quick. The NCAA basketball on CBS. That's another iconic one. I got to throw that in there too.
Yes, we can't forget that one as well too.
Have y'all forgotten about Monday Night Football theme, man?
Yes,
I think
Oh,
that's the best one.
of course.
That's the best one.
That's one.
listen, we're seeing things coming back, not just with NBC, NCAA football. I'm telling y'all, once that game comes out, I'm buying me that PS5. Now the question,
I'm buying the hell out of that one.
I already have the PS5. I need the game.
now the question is though, are they gonna import the draft class? That's the thing I want to know.
I have to get some more information on that. I don't want to lie to y'all because as silly as I act, I try to be as factual as possible. I don't want to lie, so I'll inbox y'all about that when I find out some more information. Fact of the matter is, I've been playing Mortal Kombat the entire time, so I've been waiting on that to come back because I got tired of playing the old Madden games. So, I mean,
But this is great
so
though, champ, because you're seeing things coming. Even though I hate that TNT is coming to an end, but I still believe all four of them got opportunities. Charles got his podcast. Shaq got his podcast. Kenny the Jet Smith. I will admit though, this is a hilarious one with Charles Barkley, my favorite on TNT. The steam room. Remember when he talked about how he found the bracelet in the steam room?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Charles
can't get my
Barkley is
words.
he's hilarious. I can't deny Chuck, man. He is the most hysterical dude in sports media, man. There's him, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, but Charles Barkley, man, he is so hysterical. He's so funny, man. I think it's gonna be great. I think they're gonna be fine. Ernie's gonna be fine. NBC, they're gonna be fine, man. But I can't wait, and I can't wait for that NCAA football game, man. I'm telling you, by the time July comes, I'm buying me the PS5. I'm buying me the game, and I'm gonna be playing Dynasty mode or
Yeah.
whatever
I'll
with my
play
bro
you. Once
Yusus.
I get a game, I'll play you.
Oh yeah,
I'm down.
definitely.
I'm
Oh
down.
yeah, definitely. We all know Champ is gonna go back to playing that college football game.
I'm gonna go back to playing it when I get a chance, man. But for now, man, Mortal Kombat, man. Mortal Kombat is my
Yeah.
thing right about now.
Yeah. For me, it's WWE 2K. That's the game I've been like glued on right now.
Speaking of
That
2K, you know what game that needs to come back?
what?
NFL
And
2K.
NFL.
Remember,
Yep.
remember NFL 2K5?
Yep.
Arguably the greatest video game, football game, other than Madden '05, in my opinion.
The engine they made that game on was something serious. I loved NFL 2K5. That in the I mean just it was like it was an amazing alternative to Madden, and it was just it's like that engine that they use, and then implementing the ESPN, the broadcast, and the format. It was just like, dude, I can't
And the
disagree with you
great
on that one.
And the great Chris Berman.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was
I mean,
great.
Go.
the N-
Ball.
the NFL
Wait.
primetime highlights when you're playing regular season mode. Oh my god, it's so fire, so
I
fire.
couldn't stop playing that. I couldn't stop playing that. I just couldn't. Hold on. Let me ask you guys something though. I want to bring something up. Sports PSP was talking about Mark Jackson, being the new guy, or whatever. How come he's not the coach? How come he's not a coach anywhere? Can someone please answer me that? It's been bugging me ever since he got kicked out from the Golden State Warriors. That's been bugging me.
I think because of other reasons, I don't want to get into.
Yeah, I
No.
know, but it's just like,
Yeah.
what? Like, what?
But Mark Jackson should be. I think Mark Jackson is a good coach. Is a great coach, and plus he set the foundation for the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr has done a
Exactly.
phenomenal job of the Golden State Warriors taking it over. But let's not forget who put in the foundation. That was Mark Jackson. He did say Steph Curry, Klay Thompson could be the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as they knock, and I'm not gonna say anything to kind of mess up anything, as much as they knock Mark Jackson for certain reasons, and we won't say it, didn't Steph Curry turn down a deal for some of the same reasons that they were knocking Mark Jackson because of? Because if you remember Steph Curry's first shoe deal with, I think, either Nike or Adidas, they wouldn't allow him to put certain things on there. But
Mhm.
when he went to Under Armour, they allowed him to. So, I mean, it's quite amazing that, they knock that he's been blackballed because of that. But, that was the same reason that Steph Curry turned down a shoe deal with Nike and Adidas, because they wouldn't allow him to do certain things on a certain shoe. So I will leave it at that. I will leave it to the audience to read between the lines on that and do a little research. But it's quite ironic that when they bring up some of the things that Mark Jackson is being blackballed for, that's some of the, and not only that, if you go back and look at the first championship, if you look at the first thing that Draymond Green said, Draymond of all people said, one of the main things that they did during that season was go to chapel. If you go back and look at this piece, that's the first thing, one of the first things Draymond Green said. One of the main things that we incorporated was going to chapel. So that's it's quite amazing how he's blackballed for certain things, but you know those same things are the reason that Steph Curry's shoe was embraced, and
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green brought that up during the first title run. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why that is such a bad thing. I don't understand it. Me being from Georgia, me being from the Bible Belt. But the thing is, if that's the main thing you're blackballing him for, then you kind of need to rethink yourself because the thing is, he's a hell of a coach. Not to mention this right here. You have to think this. You have to think about this. Where did Mark Jackson get that from? If you really think about it, the Golden State Warriors during their dynasty years was nothing but the Indiana Pacers of the 90s 2.0. Because if you look at that offense, it's the same thing. If you go back and look at Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, um, yeah, and Tony, the Davis brothers, the Duncan Dutchman and Rick Schmitz. If you
Jalen
look at
Rose,
that
Reggie
team,
Miller.
yes, if you look at that team in the 90s with Reggie Miller, that was a jump shooting team. They played good defense in the middle with the Davis brothers, and they had the one guy in the middle in Rick Smith, and for the Golden State Warriors, it was Andrew Bogut. So if you look at that team, it's pretty much the same team, but the Golden State Warriors elevated it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, if you really look at that, Mark Jackson got the blueprint from his playing days in Indiana under Larry Brown. So my thing is, if he's a good coach, give him a chance. I mean, I don't I don't necessarily knock certain values that guys have. What you do is your own cup of tea. But when it gets to a point where certain coaches and your general managers are taping you to try to find evidence upon you in order to get you fired, that's when it's going too far. Because if you remember, that's why he got fired, because the general managers were taping him to try to get him fired
Right, and
in the
plus
middle of a
also,
playoff run.
and plus, champ. Do you remember Andre Iguodala? He was on the Breakfast Club, and he alluded, which we cannot say on the air, but he alluded to some things on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. And like I said, me being from down south, I understand. I understand. But the thing is, if that's the only thing that you're holding him back for, then you probably need to reevaluate yourself, because there's a lot of coaches in this league, and we're not here to pass the sermon on anybody. But there's a lot of coaches in this league that it has been a lot worse, and they've been in the headlines for a hell of a lot worse than that. And I'll leave it at that when I say that.
No, no, there's no question about that. Not just players, not just coaches, players too. There have been players and coaches that have been involved with a lot of serious off the court situations. But I don't think that should keep Mark Jackson out of a job, because when you look at his resume, you look at his body of work, that does say something. So, fellas, let's move on to some WWE. I thought about this very long and hard. By the way, while I was sipping on my Di Serrano. By the way, folks, if you want to get a good drink, go to the liquor store, get you a nice bottle of Di Serrano or some red wine or something. But while I was sipping on my Di Serrano the other night, I was thinking, hmm, favorite moment. We did favorite Hell in a Cell match, and don't worry, the clip will be out soon. Favorite Kane moment. I'm gonna go first. The rivalry between him and Shane McMahon. That was some intense stuff. Do you remember Survivor Series champ? The ambulance match between him and
Ugh.
them. Do you also remember Monday Night Raw when Shane McMahon was supposed to face Eric Bischoff, and then Kane, this was without the mask, he installed jumper cables. I can't give out exactly where he put them, but he electrocuted Shane McMahon. The same, and to which Jim Ross. And by the way, folks, shout outs to Jim Ross, greatest commentator in wrestling. Also, oh, you dude. Champ, you talk about Triple H. how much of a heel that Jim Ross despises. Let's not forget 2003 Kane. Let's not forget that. This is the after all, Kane set Jim Ross on fire.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
That
let's not
was
forget,
intense.
yeah, that was pretty intense. And when you look at Kane during that time, also let's not forget Kane. Remember Bad Blood, champ? The Hell in the Cell match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Do you remember what he did the following night on Monday Night Raw and what he did to Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, yeah, ooh, yeah. It was supposed to be the end of a rivalry, and come to find out, it was the beginning of a lot of other things. Not to mention, man, don't. Hey, I love my main man Goldberg from UGA, man, played for my Atlanta Falcons, but I will never forget this. Triple H owes that H title to Kane because he choke slammed the crap out of Bill Goldberg at Armageddon in 2003. I mean, that was, you heard it throughout the arena. And it's just like, it was, I mean, it was so, Kane was so bad during that time. To your point, remember, they had to have cops come out there with him and unchain him.
He told
Yeah.
pile driver Linda McMahon.
Yeah. It was crazy, man. That was an intense, man. That was intense. But hey, man, I got. Can I go real quick? PSP.
Go ahead. I already
To
gave my
me,
opinion.
honestly, man, Kane was at his most invincible. People talk about Kane being invincible, but he was the biggest monster when the whole arena would turn red when he came out, and it would stay red during the match. I remember in 1997, he was flat out flattening everybody. I remember he flattened Ahmed Johnson. He flattened the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, he was just running through guys. I mean, and in the only two times where the lights would come on was between him and Vader, which was another monstrous character, and him. And it didn't even come on when he faced Mankind at the Survivor Series in 1997, which is known for the Montreal Screwjob, but that match was pretty good as well, but I digress. Kane was at his most invincible in 97 when the whole arena that was a mystique like you never, that we will probably never see again. The whole arena would be dark red when he would wrestle his whole match. And, and Paul Bearer did a hell of a job with Kane, man. And Kane he talked for Kane much like he did with The Undertaker at the beginning of his career. And when Paul Bearer said, "You are my personal instrument of destruction," Kane was just that, man. He was running through guys. I mean, it did some of them. I never forget something that Jerry the King Lawler said. He said Kane is the kind of guy that show you a hammer lock using a real hammer. Remember what he did to Vader's face with that wrench? So remember when he came through the stands and choke slammed the fan? That was intense. I mean, but the whole arena being red when Kane would wrestle his entire match, that was genius. And that was the most invincible Kane that you ever want to see. For him to just come out on Monday Night Raw and take out an Ahmed Johnson, who was over as hell during that time, was something special. For him to take out entire organizations was something special. It was just, that was when he was at his most invincible. But hey, I gotta say, favorite Kane moment, man. You gotta think about one thing and one thing only. When he finally faced The Undertaker at WrestleMania 14. Because people talk about him and Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. It took 3 tombstones, and that was the first time we've ever seen that. It took 3 tombstones in order to keep Kane down. And even did, he got up quick after the pinfall. So that was, and the way they told that story with the arena being dark, putting him against other monstrous characters in a Vader, in a Mankind, against an Ahmed Johnson, and then finally facing The Undertaker himself and I know he lost that match, But the thing was, you can gain a lot by losing a match as well. You don't necessarily have to win,
Oh
especially in
yeah.
WWE. For him to kick it, I mean, at that point, only one person in memory ever kicked out of the Undertaker's tombstone, and that was Hulk Hogan. Only one person up until that point in '98 at WrestleMania 14 ever kicked out of the tombstone. That was Hulk Hogan. And for him, for the Undertaker to have to tombstone him 3 times in order to keep him down for a 3 count, that was amazing, man. And the agility of Kane being an invincible monster for years. He wasn't just a flash in the pan. That's what people don't realize. Big, huge, monstrous characters are usually kind of flashes in the pan. It's just like, they'll be monsters for about a year or so, and then they'll fade and they'll kind of make a mockery out of them a little bit. And if you need evidence of that, just look at the great Khali, Giant Gonzalez, even Yokozuna to a certain extent. But Kane was a monster. I mean, even when he was a good guy, even when he was a face, he was a monster. But when he was a heel, he was the epitome of what a monster can be. So I have to say, favorite Kane moment was him taking those 3 tombstones, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And speak. I love the point that you mentioned, Champ. There are a lot of great fighters who've lost matches, but their careers took it to another level. Mick Foley, remember the Undertaker match, Hell in the Cell, King of the Ring, 1998. That
Yes.
actually helped out Mick Foley in his career. And Paul Heyman, shout out to the great Paul Heyman. He said this about Mick. Mick always felt offended with people's expectations of him because he thought they were too low. As humble as Mick was, he knew how deep down inside how great he was. And people were wondering, how could Mick Foley handle that type of match? Because remember, Undertaker, he fought Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood in
Mm-hmm.
'97, and that was a hell of a match. How could Mick Foley in that situation handle a match to that degree? Go check it out. I don't need to say it. The speak says it for itself. And also, there's a comment in the comment section below. True to King TV. Shout out to True to King TV. Salute 100. Please go check him on the crossover on FYF Sports Debates with our man Casual Sports Casual. Mario knows best, and the rest of the crew, Young Africa. Mitch, what is your favorite Kane moment?
So I'm gonna go a different route. Everyone's talking about like his mysterious, like he can't be anybody up there. Do you guys remember the tag team he was with Daniel Bryan? The Team Hell No, and the Yes movement, the hugs, the backstage segment with the therapist. I mean,
Yeah.
just the comedy side, the comedic side of Kane. That's what got me the most because we didn't get to see that side for decades, and then now we finally saw it, and they knocked it out of the park. That tag team, you thought it would never work, but it worked. Like I got to go with that since I go a little bit outside the box.
Hmm.
That was great, man. I didn't never even think about that.
That was
Right?
intriguing because
Yeah.
anyone has this perception of Kane as this
Mitch cooked
monster.
with that one.
Yeah. BRF.
Well, for starters, Kane is my favorite big man of all time. He's my favorite big man of all time. 2000 to 2004, Kane needs to be studied. No way in hell somebody should be that size, be able to move the way he did. And it's like, the days, it was like wrestling being built on like the larger than life figures with with the built physiques and all that stuff. And then you see this big 7 foot, 320 pound dude chiseled out of freaking rock being able to jump off the top rope and move the way he does is like 2000 to 2004 Kane, I'm sorry, needs to be studied because it's not fair for somebody to be the way he was and just being as, I don't know, he was a spectacle and he was a spectacle in his own right just because of not just the matches he would put on but the moments he would create, just the destruction he would cause. It was some of my favorite moments was Kane literally destroying 7-8 people at a time. I mean, the return, the one return, like when the I think he what was it? Yeah, he came back when like the Radicals at first turned heel and joined up with Triple H and all them. And that first return where Paul Bearer came back in the red suit and he brought him out and Kane just choke slamming everyone. I mean, just awesome. For me, it's hard to single out a Kane moment because he's got so many good ones for me. If I had to single out one Kane moment. If I had to single out one, it's another comedic one, but it's my favorite Kane return. I believe it was 2003 when the Un-Americans was a thing. It was Lance Storm, Christian, and Test. And it was like they had been teasing the Kane return for a long, long time. And I guess the night it came, and they were about to burn. Tess was about to burn the American flag in the ring. So they played the last little return promo to kind of think and to kind of tease it. And then Tess had the blowtorch. He's about to set the sucker on fire to the point where Jerry the King Lawler's like, "Oh no, I can't let this happen. I'm about to go and do something." And then the pyro hits and he comes out, blows the roof off the joint. And just and it was like just 3 minutes of just pure Kane chaos. I mean, the chair shot he took from Christian in the back, and he took it, he shrugged it off, and he turned around and looked at him. Christian wanted to crap his pants. Like just straight up. He probably wanted to piss himself at that moment. Like I swear to God, he hit him so hard. And then one-handed choke slam to him. Beats the crap out of Lance Storm. And then he grabs Tess with the JR, choke slam him to hell, Kane. Choke slam him to hell. Oh my gosh. And then because like he was and then the cherry on top, because he was saving Booker T and Goldust. And that big 320-pound sumbitch had to go hit a spinneroonie. I swear to God, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And he nailed it too, which made it so perfect. That is like easily my favorite Kane return of all time. And I'll say this: two of the biggest missed opportunities was Kane as far as like the World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like one of the 5 biggest missed opportunities of the last 20 plus years was not putting the World Heavyweight Championship on Kane after he lost the mask. That was a big missed opportunity that they didn't put the World Heavyweight Championship on him. I think it was a missed opportunity they didn't put it on him before he lost the mask. But if they had to put the World Heavyweight Championship on him after he lost the mask, the cinema that he would have been able to create with that championship, and you're just like, good God, who is going to beat this dude? I feel like he's one of the biggest missed opportunities. I mean, did he finally get the World Heavyweight Championship? He did, but then it was the SmackDown World Title, and it was watered down, and it really didn't have. I mean, it was a big deal, but it wasn't like if he had won it in 2003, it would have been like, oh my gosh, like I would have loved to see him put the world title on him then. But if I had to single out a moment, it was that moment in 2003. He took out the Un-Americans, and then he hit the spinneroonie at the end, and it was just like, his best face run, because then it was like tag teaming with the Hurricane, tag teaming with Rob Van Dam, and then that rivalry with Triple H where he ultimately lost the match. I mean, just Kane, I'm telling you, man, he's my favorite. He's my favorite big man of all time. I mean, say what you will, Kane's my favorite. I love, man. Kane was like a beast in every facet of the word, bro. But 2003 is my favorite. That return is my favorite.
Did people forget? Remember, he and Big Show, they were the tag team champions at one point.
Oh, Jesus! Hey, don't forget. Hey, let's not forget.
What was it like? 2006 when they were tag team champions.
Yeah. 06,
I thought they were never gonna lose.
I didn't think.
I thought they were never gonna lose.
Hey, speaking of comedy, like Mitchell was saying, man, hey, don't forget about being a Canaanite now. Don't forget about being a Canaanite. You know,
right?
The promo with him rocking Hogan.
Yes, that promo that he gave with Rock and Hulk Hogan was great. 11,000 screaming Canaanites, and remember the Rock was looking like Canaanites. So that was one of the funnier segments as well, man. I never forget that one either.
He was funny, but
Oh,
as a monster in the 2003 when he was unmasked, oh my God, he was menacing. Remember when he chokeslammed Eric Bischoff?
Off the stage, I didn't
off,
think.
off
I
the
look.
stage.
I know wrestling is choreographed because we won't say the other word. It's choreographed because dudes be actually getting hurt in there. But I literally thought that he had broke Eric Bischoff's back because of how hard he slammed him. I was like, ooh, I think he hurt for real, dude, because that was thunderous. I mean, he choke slammed him through that table and he hit the ground. I mean,
Right.
you saw it.
And do you remember the other incident with Shane McMahon? Remember, Kane was chasing Shane, the car situation, and remember he had like a I don't know what it was like.
Oh,
I don't know what Shane put on the wheel. I don't know if it was like a 2x4 or whatever. And then he said, "Hey, buddy, have a nice ride." And then how the limo smashed into the WWE Corporation's truck. Remember that?
Yeah, that was nasty. And to your point,
yes.
man, that was the most intense. I've never seen two people just was out to just mess each other
The,
up. That
the,
rivalry right there, like
Oh,
somebody.
let's not forget when Kane set
the fire
fire.
and the fire and the dumpster.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, they was out to hurt each other.
Mm.
They weren't
Oh,
playing.
oh,
But
no, 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 no. I gotta bring it back up. I
oh,
gotta bring it back up. My favorite Jim Ross line of all time. We talked about this before. Kane was about to fight Eric Bischoff, and Jim Ross. It was like one of the lines of the year. I hope Kane whoops Eric Bischoff ass. I hope he choke slams into hell. And then when he walks out the arena, I hope he gets hit by a bus. Oh,
do
Jim
you
Ross
remember?
couldn't
oh,
stand
Do you
Eric
remember
Bischoff.
Jim Ross's comments to RVD? Remember when RVD came to the defense of Shane McMahon? He said, "Eat some steel, Kane. You no good, dirty bastard." You
Bro,
remember that? He said it. Jim Ross said it.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
But hey,
oh
listen,
Lord.
Kane's heel in 2003. That was huge, man. Also, Mitch, to your point with the Daniel Bryan, that was hysterical with he and Daniel Bryan with the Yes Man. That
Yeah.
that was hysterical. And also, folks, for next week on the Sports PSP Pod, I don't know if I'm gonna bring this up, but we may do favorite favorite either Randy Orton or Mick Foley moment or anyone else that you can possibly think
Ooh,
of. So stay tuned for
That'd
the
be
Sports
great.
PSP
ooh.
podcast next week or so. Fellas, let's talk about some music. Favorite Busta Rhymes track. I'll go first. Do you really want to party with me? Let me see is what you got for me. Put all your hands where my eyes can see. Straight buck wildin' in the place to be.
The place
That
to
was
be.
one of the hit songs from Busta Rhymes from his sophomore album When Disaster Strikes. That's a hell of an album. Also, the third album, I can't remember the name of the album. Champ will probably tell me, but that track with him and Janet Jackson, what's it gonna be? Those
That
are
Yes.
was
my
that was ELE. I think that was Extinction Level Event. I think.
yes,
Yes.
1998.
Yeah.
1998. Essential levels of event. That track with him and Janet Jackson, and then of course, don't this shit make my people want to jump, jump. Don't this shit make my people want to jump, jump. Pastor Courvoisier song. So Busta, love his tracks, love his energy, just love his rhymes, especially the way he rhymes that fast. There's him, shout out to Chi Town's Twister. He could also rap fast as well. But Busta Rhymes, when it comes to tracks, put your hands where my eyes can see. What's it gonna be with Janet Jackson? Pastor Cavassier, give me some more. Make it clap. Touch it. And then also his debut album, The Coming. And also, let's not forget the late great Craig Mack. Remember the remix of Flavor in Your Ear? That
Yes.
verse?
Oh, his verse was so fire.
That was
His
a
verse,
good verse, and it was a
his verse
comedic
was
verse
so
as well.
fire.
That was
His verse was so fire. Oh my gosh.
Who wants to go? Who wants to go?
Oh, I'll start it. I'll start it. I'll start it. I'll start it. I'll go. I'll go. Um, oh, gosh. Surprisingly enough, my favorite Busta album is Genesis. He has some
Okay.
good tracks on the Genesis. He has some good tracks on the Genesis album.
Mhm.
Because for me with Busta, the Genesis album was kind of like that. Okay, yeah, you doing your features, you killing the features, you killing the, all that. Can you still do one by yourself? He killed. I love Genesis. He killed Genesis. Oh, he killed it. Um, my, I got a lot of favorites. I mean, there's Dangerous. There's Give Me Some More. There's In the Ghetto with the Rick James sample. I love that song. Um, but my favorite Busta track is the one with Linkin Park. We Made It. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Busta track. It's like the tempo, the beat, and then the late great Chester, God rest his soul. His voice could make any song sound like 10 times better. And his voice with Busta was it was just like the perfect contrast. And that song was just so. Oh, I love that. I love that song. That's my all-time favorite Busta track. But I could probably have about, good lord, a good 15 to 20. But if I had to have to pick one, yeah, we made it with Linkin Park. That's my favorite Buster track.
Mitch?
That was actually one of mine, so I'm gonna go with a different one here. Thank God I have a list right here. Make It Clap it's from Ain't Safe No More. That's one of them. I also gotta go with Holla Man from The Wasp in 2001. I think that's
Mmm.
up there as well. And last one, I'll Hurt You, the Kill Steals Volume 1 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, those are my
Hmm.
Um.
top three.
Mm-hmm. I love the one. Oh, I forgot one last song. I may still. I am fun. Thunder. Remember the track with him and Mariah Carey? Baby, if you
Yes.
give it
Yes,
to me,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you as long as you want.
boy, they still rock that on the radio. That's a good
Oh yeah, they
song.
Mhm.
do. Oh, I
Yes.
was listening to Hot 97 the other day, and they were playing that track. Big Champ.
Hey man, look here. A certain beat that he made, another person, but that we covered last week, another big time artist. You know, everybody remembers Boss's Life, but you know what? I remember Everybody Rise. Huh. I never forget, man. We used to go to the gym back in the day, back during my amateur days, and we used to cut that on while we was doing jump rope. Everybody rise! And if you ask me, that was one of his hidden gem songs. If you really cut that on now, everybody want to talk about being a boss's life with Snoop Dogg and Akon, but I remember it for being Busta Rhymes song. Rise was one hell of a song, man. It got you rowdy, man. And I understand, man, that we're not talking about features, but the thing he did with Annie Up, that was, great. And you know what? I don't want to bring this up, but I have to. But I never forget the Hail Mary remix with him and Eminem and everybody was going at Ja. Now I like Ja, but that was evidence of everybody to on Busta Rhymes, like, don't test my skills. Like, and if you ever notice, nobody before nor since he made that song ever tried Busta Rhymes as far as battle rapping on the mic. Because that was a feature, and everybody said, you know what? Whatever chance that Ja had, it's over when Buster had joined that beat, because when he came out, I think about the game is what it's like, and what would it be without you?
Without you.
Hey, true story. I was in the car with my sister. Shout out to Ace. I was in the car with my sister, and we was driving in that raggedy 95 Toyota that my mom had gave us. We was driving in that, and we was listening to that. And we looked at each other. We was like, well, that be pretty much over. We know who won that one. And when he did that on that track on the Hail Mary remix,
It was over.
It was over. I mean, and like I said, that was Buster saying, look, don't try me on this mic. I make a lot of fun songs. I make stuff to make you bop. I make stuff to make you laugh. But when it comes to my mic skills, do not try me. And that was never any more evidence than that right there. That was a very good song. Man, let's not forget, man, the song, people don't understand Buster, what it is right now with Khalees, hell of a song. Me and my father, shout out to my father, Father's Day is coming soon. Shout out to my father, me and him used to love that song. And this is around the time when Buster cut his dreads off in that video. So, man, Hail Mary remix, Everybody Rise, Annie Up remix, and that those particular songs, man, those were great. And people don't talk about.
Remember the "Look at Me Now" song?
Yes, I was just about to get to that, man. And you just returning the favor, PSP. Sometimes I steal your thunder. Now you stealing mine. So,
thank you,
man,
to D Serrano. Thank you to D Serrano.
I'm gonna stick with Grandma Ye, but hey, D Serrano, if you need a sponsor, check my man PSP out, the New Jersey Genius.
Grandma Ye is really good too, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to put my guys on there, man. Shout out to the Wolfpack, by the way. But hey, man, look, some of the features that Busta Rhymes has done is incredible. I never forget when he got on the Speeding remix. Just like the Autobahn, it's just God in the speed limit. Hey, fast life, we getting fast money, fast food, fast cars. I mean, Busta is one of the most underrated artists of our time. All these great albums. I mean, I don't think that Busta has ever put out a bad album. And we've seen some of the all-time greats put out a bad album. We saw LL Cool J put out a bad album with 14 Shots to Your Dome. We saw Jay-Z put out a lackluster album. We even seen Snoop Dogg and maybe even, depending on what your flavor is, even the great Tupac put out an album that wasn't very, very received well. But Busta Rhymes has never put out a bad album. I could put in a Busta Rhymes album and rock it out for the next 3 days and not skip one song.
His lyrics, man, is no joke. And remember, leaders of the new school. Remember leaders of the new school. Remember that rap?
Rah, like the Dungeon Dragon. Yes, man. Hey, Your MTV Raps was a big thing, man. I mean, that was leaders of the new school, man. That was a critically acclaimed song because we never seen that many guys get on one track. We seen groups get on a track, but to see two super groups do that together was special, man. I mean, people will say to this day that was the best verse Busta spit, but I will say the verse that he did on Hail Mary remix and I gotta say the one he did on Annie Up, man, because Annie Up, that was special, man. I live. They actually had to stop playing that in certain clubs, man, if you really go back and look at it, because I didn't know what certain words meant because I was so young, and I won't say them, but I didn't know what certain words meant. And when I found out what they meant, you start figuring out that stuff was literally happening in the club. So, I mean, they had to stop playing it. I know Columbus was one of the places you had to stop.
He was big in the late 90s. And remember the VMAs in 97 with him and Martha Stewart?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Considering what we was talking about before we went on the air, I got you there. But man, that was Chris Rock. Chris Rock always create the iconic moment on the VMAs or the award show. That was special. But
that was.
But man, look, man, Busta Rhymes, man. Hey, PSP, man, hell of a job on this, man. Hey, in the great words of the great Jay-Z, you a fool for this one. But hey, Busta Rhymes, one of the most underrated artists in history, especially when you consider the competition that he had to go against. DMX, you had to go against, Jay-Z, Ja Rule, 50 Cent during his time when he was one of the most hottest artists during that time. He was outselling some of those guys. Kanye West, Nelly, not to mention, you're not only going up against the guys that are mainstream, you go against the guys on the underground as well. So, for him to be not considered one of the greatest of all time when it comes to his mic skills is a travesty. And I think people need to look at Busta a little bit more and put him in certain conversations because he should be there.
I love him and the hype man, Split Star. I mean,
Split Star.
They did some really good videos, man. Remember the Pastor Cavassier video when him, Puffy, Pharrell, remember Harlem Nights?
Yeah. Yes, I remember that.
That was something special. But Busta, man,
You better watch out for that Bell Mountain.
Yeah. Lord. Hey, listen, man. This is why we this is why the sports PSP, man. This is what we're gonna do.
You did that on purpose, BRF. I'm gonna get you.
No,
He did it
nah,
intentionally.
bro.
You did that on purpose.
I did, no, bro.
I'm gonna get you for that.
All right, fellas. Speaking of a guy who is funny,
Oh.
that also was with in that music video with Busta Rhymes, Pastor Cavassier. Favorite Jamie Foxx moment. Jamie Foxx, man, is comedian, singer, very underrated singer, man. I mean, got a beautiful voice, acting. He was magnificent in the movie Raid 2004, Django Unchained. Does a hell of a Mike Tyson and Donald Trump impersonation. Just go check it out on YouTube. Whoever wants to go first, what is your favorite Jamie Foxx moment?
Hey, I'll set the tone for this one. Hey, look, I grew up in the 90s. When he played Wanda on A Living Color, I can't even get it. When he played Wanda on A Living Color, that is one of the fun, because it was just, it was one of the funniest, most epic things. And I remember one segment, he almost caused Tommy Davidson to get out of character because he made him laugh so hard during the segment. So him playing Wanda is one of the most iconic moments you're ever going to see. And, for him, during that time, man, I could have rocked this world. Everybody remember Wanda. That, we used to roast people by saying they look like Wanda. So, I mean, that was iconic, man. Not to mention, man, we all knew him as a comedian, but Any Given Sunday, Willie Beeman. I got to him and him playing quarterback is one of the most, because you can see it in his personality. He was built to play that role. I mean, plus he was athletic enough. He was, he was big enough, yet small enough to make you believe that he could play quarterback in the league, man. So, hey, Jamie Foxx, one of the most talented individuals you ever want to see, man. When you talk about a guy who had so many avenues that he could go down, man, it's rare that you strike in one area. It's rare that you strike in acting. It's rare that you strike in singing. It's rare that you strike in movies. And then hell of a stand-up comedian too, man. One of the original people on Def Comedy Jam. So, I mean, iconic, man. So if I had to point to one Jamie Foxx moment, man, it'll have to be Any Given Sunday and Wanda, man. Like I said, man, we used to you know about roasting, Frank, man. You know how we do it down south. We used to roast so many people by saying you got that Wanda wig on. So that was just epic. That was how we used to do it at the lunch table back in the day. So,
oh God,
character, man. I loved every minute of that character. That was something special, man.
Mitch, man, what's your favorite Jamie Foxx moment?
All right, I got a movie here. It was Amazing Spider-Man 2. If you guys haven't seen that, he was very underrated in this movie. He doesn't get credit enough for this. And Due Date. You know that movie with Zach Galifianakis and Robert? No. Who was the other guy? That's gonna bother me. Robert Downey Jr. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. He was also in that. Hilarious in that movie. And a lot of people don't know he was the host of a show called Shazam. You know when it was a musical it was like a game show and they had to name the song before Shazam did. He was the host of that for like a year or two. But those are mine.
BRF.
oh man, Jamie Foxx, one of my favorite personalities in entertainment. Period. Unpredictable is one of my favorite albums of all time. I love that album. God, I love that album. I mean, I could listen to that entire thing, no skips. That album was so good. Yeah, like the movie Any Given Sunday. Oh, good Lord, I'm trying to think of what else. Underrated action movie Bait. That was good. Like showing the action chops in that one. That was a good one. Gosh, what else? Oh gosh, one of my favorite comedies of all time, Booty Call. Y'all ain't finna sit here and say y'all ain't seen that one. I love that Booty Call. God, that movie was so. Oh, that movie was so good. That movie was so good. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. But this is what. Okay, but this is what I'll say. My favorite Jamie Foxx moment. I think it was the '04 ESPYs that he
God
was
damn
the
it,
host.
You stole it. You stole my idea.
It was the '04 ESPYs, and there was two particular moments for me. The one where he sang to Serena Williams, "I want to be your tennis ball." I'm just saying that. Oh my! I cried when I saw that the first time. I literally cried. And then the part where I can't remember what his name, but he was the coach and he was in the shorts. Oh my gosh! I think Gary Payton had got up like to accept an award, that he was presenting an award, and he was leaving the stage. And Jamie Foxx looks at him like, "The glove, huh? I bet you was a hole in that some bitch this year."
We was talking about the NBA Finals when he said.
Yes, he said, "Oh, the glove. I bet it was a hole in that some bitch this year." I mean, he shut the whole building down. Oh my god,
Bro,
I'm telling you, I have never in my life laughed so hard at any awards type show as I did when he hosted those ESPYs. Oh my gosh, he shut it down from the opening salvo to the end of the show. Like Jamie Foxx is just, as far as like from an entertainment perspective, folks really don't understand how on another tier he is as far as being good at everything he does. It's not fair for one man to be that good, whether it's his acting, I'll say it like this, whether it's his movies or his singing. We gonna forget about how good the Jamie Foxx show was back in the day.
Yes.
The Jamie Foxx show is one of my favorite sitcoms ever. Him and Braxton, bruh. If y'all, hey, to the chat, if y'all want to laugh y'all butts off hit YouTube, hit any of the streaming channels. If they got the Jamie Foxx show, binge it and watch it for him and Braxton, because my God, gold. They were gold. I mean, Jamie Foxx. I mean, bruh. 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 Y'all got to watch the Jamie Foxx show. I'm talking about gold. Like, I mean, and that was a time where it was like so many good sitcoms. It was that one. It was the Wayans brothers. I mean, it was just so many good shows at the time. Folks don't understand how spoiled we were late 90s, early 2000s as far as sitcoms. Folks don't understand how spoiled we were growing up as teenagers watching that stuff. It was it was just pure gold. Like, but yeah, Jamie Foxx is just one of these dudes. We gotta appreciate this man while we got him, while he's still able to, be able to go out and put out this entertainment. Because the man had a health scare, and we were all scared. And the fact that he's coming back from it, and I'm glad to see him. And I just want the man to continue to strive and continue to do what he does best, and just he is easily one of my favorite entertainers of all time. But those '04 ESPYs stand out for me for those two moments alone. Because people just, if y'all want to know how funny he is, I'm telling you, that's it right there. That just. Hey, I can't. No, see, the funny part about it is, though, I was in TikTok. And that clip just so happened to pop up in my For You page and on my For You. And I was just like, bro, I completely forgot about this. I laughed as hard watching it on TikTok as I did the first time I saw it. That's how good it was.
Did y'all see LeBron and Tom Cruise and Ray Lewis's reaction at the ESPYs that night when he was singing to Serena Williams, "I Want to Be Your Tennis Ball"?
Bro. Hey.
He shut it down.
Hey, let's not forget when he hosted the VMAs for MTV, and Suge had just got out of jail, right? Y'all remember that part, right? Suge had just got out of jail. So he was on stage. He said, people think I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? They think I won't say that by Suge Knight. And you heard the whole building just pause for a second because they knew how Suge was. And he said it ain't right, man. If you don't take that damn thing off that screen, and the only thing you heard was the whole crowd just started laughing. That was one of the. Let's not forget about that, and I don't blame Jamie. I would have said that, but I would have made no joke about Suge Knight either.
Boy, I'm telling you.
One of my favorite scenes from Jamie Foxx. Remember the near of Django Unchained?
Yes.
Jackson. I counted 6 shots. I count 2 guns.
Good.
Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know the scene, and then he shoots Samuel Jackson's character in the knee on the knees, not once but twice.
I'm sorry.
That line and that line he dropped before he shot him the second time. Calvin Candy, what he said, like 9,999. Everything that came out of Calvin Candy's mouth, but he was right about one thing. I am that 1 in 10,000, and shot him in the other. And I'm like, that's hard. That's hard. God, that was hard.
Oh my
bro,
God.
y'all are killing me tonight, bro.
Y'all stole the fun. The other favorite moment from Jamie Foxx. Blame it on the alcohol. Anyone remember that track with him and T-Pain?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
That's still a banger. That is still a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, y'all are bringing back so many memories, man. It's kind of like nostalgia all over again. I'm reliving everything. Hey, man. PSP, man.
The Jamie Foxx show. They have it on not only HBO Max, but they also have it on Netflix. Same thing with Martin.
Hey,
I'm telling you, chat, go stream it, binge it, enjoy yourself.
hey, man, never mind. But yeah.
Oh, do you remember the episode on? I think it was season 4, Jamie Foxx show. They had Lawrence Taylor. They had Charles Woodson.
Yeah, Juke of Jamie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Boy, man, we getting the
Or
conversation.
the
And,
or the one episode where him and Braxton were doing the dance off, and Braxton dressed up in the Michael Jackson outfit.
that was hilarious.
Oh, oh
hey,
gosh.
don't
That
forget about the impersonation of a certain singer that he did. We won't say his name. I'm not trying to get
oh yeah
PSP violated, but you remember he was saying, "Don't step on my big toe." I can't
yeah.
believe when I was walking and I did not see the
I know singer you exactly referring to. Do you remember when speaking of which, speaking of Busta Rhymes, remember how he impersonated Busta Rhymes?
Yeah, that's a jingle. I'll write that later.
But I mean,
Oh no. He brought
he's
up the big toe. Oh God. I'm
he's Mr.
done.
Versatile.
I'm
He's Mr.
done.
Versatile, man. Jamie
I'm
Foxx,
done.
man, is absolutely
Oh.
hysterical. And by the way, for more comedy, next week's show on the Sports PSP podcast, favorite Martin Lawrence moment.
Oh, now it's getting thick.
PSP trying to kill us.
Listen,
Oh.
as
Oh.
PSP gotta earn a living. Shit, I gotta make. Why do you think I'm getting 4.5 subscribers on YouTube? It ain't just me. Mitch,
Oh
BRF,
Jesus.
Undisputed Casual, everybody's chipping in, man. Hey, listen, we love doing what we do. We gotta take it seriously, but at the same time, Friday night, and we want to have some fun. So I believe
Hey,
we should work hard, and we should also play hard as well.
hey, man, PSP, man. First of all, man, congratulations on 4.5K. And hey, man, I get like I said it on my show last night. Thank you for putting me on. I can't thank you enough. So, hey man, you're like a brother to me. You know that already. But and you know, hey, hey man, hell of a job on everything you're doing, man. Hey man, I know you're trying to save up for that new G Wagon that just came out, and you're almost there. So I mean, so
I also too, I want to make sure Mama PSP is taken care of. Make sure Mama PSP is.
yes,
By the way, shout out to Mama PSP. Does a great job. Always takes care. Always make sure that we get good cooking. Fellas, I'm telling y'all, I come from a Haitian side, both my mom family side. If y'all want some good Haitian food, talk to Mama PSP. She throws down in the kitchen.
yeah,
Telling y'all,
yeah,
if y'all want some good food,
yeah.
talk to Mama PSP. But fellas,
That
you
is
know
that
what?
is one culture I do not doubt when it comes to the food. The Haitian culture as a whole, I do not doubt when it comes to food.
Oh, they got the banan presé, the jus jonjon, the rice, the pickles, all that stuff. That's a good one. That's a good one. But fellas, one last subject. I got an NFL one. Mitch, I'm gonna let you go first.
Hey,
Which running back on a different team will have will have a good season? Is it Derrick Henry with the Baltimore Ravens? Is it Tony Pollard with the Tennessee Titans? Or Josh Jacobs with the Green Bay Packers?
I love how you did not include my Eagles with Saquon Barkley. I just love that. I mean, that's just great.
I'm not trying to put pressure on him. Come on.
So for me, um, can what are the other two? It's Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, and
Derrick Henry.
I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs on this one because Jordan Love, he had an incredible year, but the defense are gonna be ready to scheme that. They're gonna scheme against Jordan Love. I mean, they're gonna throw everything at him. They're gonna make him feel uncomfortable. So I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs here. He had an incredible year last year. I feel like he will help Jordan Love right out the gate. They have two wide receivers over there as well, so he's gonna have like 1,000 yards rushing. I can tell you. I can say that, like 1,250. Calling it.
BRF.
Hmm. I I gotta agree with my boy Mitch on this. I'm thinking Josh Jacobs too. Now I will say this on Derrick Henry's behalf. I will say this for Derrick Henry. What he's going to do in Baltimore, he's going to take so much of the running burden away from Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson wants to focus on being more of a passing quarterback. Insert Derrick Henry. I will take that beating, and then I will make your play action that much more better to where you can focus on what you want to do, which is be better as a passing quarterback. So I will definitely say that on Derrick Henry's behalf. But I agree that it's going to be Josh Jacobs because I feel Josh Jacobs is like, I don't know. I feel like he's basically Aaron Jones, but a little younger and a little better at this stage. I think I think from a dynamic standpoint, he's going to bring more to the Green Bay Packers from the standpoint of his ability. Like the dude is obviously one of the hardest runners. Like when he's one of the hardest runners in the league when he's on his game, and his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield is like it's almost second to none. The dude is a really good receiver out of the backfield. He does everything well, and I think he's going to bring a little more than what Aaron Jones brought. Even though Aaron Jones was still a good back for them, I feel like going and getting a Josh Jacobs adds that much more of a dynamic perspective to that offense. And I really think he's going to make the play action that much better for Jordan Love as well when you got guys like Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson on the outside. So I definitely feel like I think the biggest impact of those three is going to be Josh Jacobs. So I got to agree with my boy Mitch on that one.
Undisputed world champ.
Hey, I think the Lamar Jackson effect is going to affect Derrick Henry. They're going to benefit from each other, especially when you line them up in certain packages, because you don't know whether you, for lack of a better term, coming or going if you have them in a certain package. So I think Derrick Henry is going to definitely take a hell of a lot of pressure off of Lamar Jackson. And in turn, I think that Lamar Jackson is going to take a lot of attention off of Derrick Henry, because the thing is this: you can't stop both of them. You know, I'm just going to be very, very honest. And I know this is a bad comparison. I will say it up front. But you remember when, BRF, Michael Vick would line up with TJ Duckett and on short yardage situation, and they didn't know
That's not a bad comparison. That's not a bad comparison. That's not a bad comparison. I like that.
And they didn't know whether to go after TJ Duckett at his peak or Michael Vick at a certain point. And I think that's going to be on a level times 2, because after you pass like the 20-yard line back in them days in Atlanta, they put TJ Duckett in. He was going to beat up on that defensive line in that secondary a little bit. And then after that, Michael Vick is going to run it in for a touchdown. And I could see a lot of that happening at this point in time in Baltimore at this point. It's going to be the Lamar Jackson effect rather than the Michael Vick effect. But they're going to take a lot of pressure off of each other. And I will bet my money on that one at this point in time.
I think Derrick Henry, even though he's 30 years old, he's still capable of giving you 1,000 yards. So let's not act like he's falling off a cliff. Lamar Jackson has also lost weight. He's down to like 205, probably 210-ish. So he wants to be faster. That could actually help out Baltimore because him and Derrick Henry. But I'm going to go with the safe conservative approach. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. And I actually have Jordan Love as a sleeper for the MVP in 2024 as well as CJ Stroud. But fellas, I got something. I know we already talked about this, but the Jamie Foxx moment, if y'all want to remember a good episode, remember the episode in which he impersonated the singer D'Angelo from the song How Does It Feel?
Oh, hell no. Oh my
I don't.
god.
PSP, you the man. Because I had forgot all about that. I kind of tried to. That's one of those moments you try to
I
erase out your
did.
mind. It's like,
Oh Jesus.
no.
Jesus.
Listen, I ain't listen. I'm
Oh,
30 years old, but I've been. But hey, listen, man. Thank God for Haiti. Thank God for TV. Nothing better than '90s, early 2000s TV, man. Remember that how Jamie Foxx impersonated D'Angelo and how
Yeah,
hysterical that was.
especially during that time, that was a
Yeah.
that
oh,
was a moment, to say the least.
oh my gosh.
BRF, you good? You need some
Oh.
water or something? You need some juice?
I'm no, bro. Bro. I'm straight, folk, man. This is why I say people just don't understand. Peak Jamie Foxx is one of the funniest brothers in the history of comedy. Peak Jamie Foxx was him. Folks just don't understand, man. Oh,
All right, folks. That concludes the rest of the Sports PSP pod. Fellas, any final words before we wrap up the show?
Hey, I got one suggestion, PSP. The highlight of Friday night, get that copy written.
Yes, I'll definitely do that. And thank you again. 4,500 subscribers on YouTube. We're only going to get better and better. Um, Mitch, man, any final words and shout outs to the great work that you do on the Hardcore Sports Network. And definitely, if you want me to hop on to the pod one time, let me know.
I got you, bro. I got you. Well, Minnesota's in the lead right now, 96-94 with less than 6 minutes left.
Ooh.
So it's getting down to the wire. Kyrie hit a go-ahead three of like a couple minutes ago. So I'm gonna watch that after this. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for having me on again. I just love coming on here, just shooting the shit, just having fun. Because when you're running a network with so many channels, with so many people, it gets overwhelming, It gets overwhelming. So it's nice to chill out and relax on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm. And tell them where to follow you at as well, Champ and Mitch.
All right. I guess I'll go. All right.
Yeah.
You can follow me on YouTube at Mitch Toxie, the Hardcore Sports Network, Edge of Philly Sports, and Twitter at Mitch Toxie. Easy said and done.
Champ?
Hey, Undisputed GOAT podcast just aired yesterday. Had a hell of a time with that last night. Hey, BRF was on there, had a lot of great discussions on there. World Champ _ 2.0 on Instagram and TikTok, Undisputed World Champ. Hey, almost to 2 million likes at this point. Almost there. So, hey, continue to support the movement. Hey, like I said, man, like I stated earlier, PSP, always a privilege, a pleasure, and not only that, an honor to be on your show, bro. Keep up the good work, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, will do. BRF, final words, and tell them where to follow you at, brother.
absolutely, my brother. BRF Sports is the TikTok handle. Y'all go hit that like, subscribe. Some of the best sports content on TikTok. Linktree, Big Sugar 1122. Follow the IG, Drell 112285, Dre 2285 on the Twitter. And I also have the BRF Sports Facebook page as well. Follow all those. Bring the love, bring your support. I'm going to bring the content. You give me the energy, I give the energy back. That's what it's about. I feel like myself with PSP, Undisputed World Champ. I feel like we're gonna eventually be the new three-headed monster of this. I see no stopping us. Shout out to you, Mitch. I think I follow you already, but I gotta start watching your stuff because I enjoy hearing you talk sports. I'm enjoying what you do and what you bring to the table as well. And
Appreciate
it's
it.
like I always say,
Appreciate it.
not a problem, bro. Not a problem at all. And it's like I always say, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. I ride with that. I live by that. I stand by that. And it's always a pleasure and a privilege being on this show. I have some of the most fun with you two brothers, man. And it's just like like on the podcast last night, I told Champ the way the way he gives you praise and gives you your flowers for getting him on. I do the same thing for Champ because Champ put me on as far as like more of being, more of a exposure standpoint and with the TikTok lives after the Sunday games and all that. And it's just been like, and it's like that next step. And it's just been so much fun. And I just can't wait to see where this goes. Shout out to y'all. And we going to keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely. We will definitely keep this rolling and we're going to get nothing but better. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to continue to grind and we're going to continue to give you some excellent, great content. Shout outs to our boy Casual from Vanity Sports Debate. Shout out to Mario Knows Best. Shout out to our man Trent. Shout out to Brandon from the Blocks podcast. Go check him out every Monday nights as well. Go check out Harrison. Go check out Broad Sports. Go check out Roundup. Go check up Certified Chris. A lot of great content creators, a lot of great podcasters that definitely know their sports, that definitely provide content. And of course, Hot Take Kenny, as Champ always calls him. Hot Take Kenny. Anyway, y'all know where to follow me at Sports PSP. Please go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as my IG Sports PSP, as well as TikTok Sports PSP3. I already released the clip on Jim Ross. Shout out to BRF Sports. He's been doing it, and 10,000. There's been a couple of videos he's gotten me over 10,000. So I want to give a shout outs to BRF Sports. Mitch, you did a great job on your short on the rock with the heel. Great job on
Yeah.
you. Champ, I can't say anything more, man. You're like a big brother to me. Continue to do the great work. And also, shout outs to the greatest city in the world, Columbus, Georgia. If you can make it out of Columbus, Georgia, you can make it out anywhere. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your Memorial's Day weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy some good barbecues. Drink responsibly. Have a good time. Stay hydrated because I'm telling you, this weather hot, hot as hell. So stay hydrated. And you got something to say, champ?
One thing, and this is not to be political or anything. Remember why we celebrate Memorial Day. It's not just for the
Absolutely.
parties. It's not just for the parties. I could say as a veteran myself, remember why we celebrate Memorial Day and who paved the way for us in order to be here to this day. So remember why we celebrate it. It's good to go out to the clubs. It's good to have a good time. It's good to be on the beach. It's good to celebrate. But also remember how we got here.
Absolutely.
Always remember that.
Let's not forget that. And fellas, y'all stay safe. Y'all take it easy. Appreciate everyone who've done their part. Also, too, I want to give a real quick shout out to the Hart family. This is the 25th year anniversary of the late great Owen Hart's death. Owen Hart, hell of a technician to BRF Sports Point. Um, hey man, he was great. Gone too soon at the age of 34. Shout outs to the Hart family. Shout outs to Bret the Hitman Hart. Shout outs to just WWE. Owen, thank you for incredible great moments. Hart family, something special, man. So fellas, y'all stay safe. And on that note, we is out. Peace.